These are dark times, there is no denying.
Tell me where he is.
Our world has faced no greater threat than it does today. But you can't fight this war on your own, Mr. Porter.
This is Edward Douglas from ComingSoon.net. I am standing here in front of a very familiar train, which usually goes to the Hogwarts, but today it's actually stationed at Discovery Times Square. I'm here to talk to the producers and cast of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, whose DVD and Blu-ray hits on April 15th. I actually talked to the producers and a lot of the cast who you don't normally see, like Robbie Coltrane, Sir Michael Gambon, Bonnie Wright, and a lot of others. So enjoy the interviews. I'm here to talk to a lot of the actors who we never get a chance to talk to. So how about some of these other actors like Robbie Coltrane? I mean, how do you get these actors to put aside their careers and just become these characters?
He requires a lot of nurturing.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
he was a small boy when he started.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they, you know, I think that they are very good parts. You know, Hagrid is such a vivid character, and Robbie's brought him life in such a wonderful and appealing and charismatic way. And I think once you're a part of the family, it's pretty hard to leave.
J.K. Rowling said she wanted me to play Hagrid, and that was that.
And then also, the characters are so beloved by the fans that you can't imagine having someone else.
But actually, I think the biggest single factor that allowed us to cast every part we've cast, especially in the adult world, is the fact they've all got children, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, and if any single one of them said no, they'd have been tortured to death by their children.
I wouldn't need any convincing. The phone goes, will you play a part in Harry Potter? Yes. I say yes to everything, really. But I enjoy, it's a great script. So, of course, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, coming, you know, as you say, from one of the biggest film franchises in history, like Leprechaun, into when I came into it, you know, it literally was one film. It was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and you know, at that point we didn't know we were going to go on to make, you know, 8 films, and even halfway through we kind of didn't at that point. It was only when we reached sort of number 5 that I thought, well, there's so much momentum behind this now. They would be fools to stop now, and we all want to know what happens in a sort of cinematic sense. It's one of those things that just came to us rather than, you know, you going, oh, this is going to be amazing.
What was that like coming into that world where everyone was already kind of very familiar with it and you were kind of the new guy?
It was very strange, and it's continued to be strange because when you're making the movies, especially the first one, because the third one, because I'd seen the first and the second, and to be on a film set with these characters that it's like making a film you've already seen. The first time I came on it, that was just a little bizarre to me, but I had a very, very good experience, and everyone was great, and Dan was particularly, I had most of my stuff with, very accommodating and funny, and you know, we had a great time. I really really liked him from the get-go.
It was very daunting at first because I felt, because I was a huge fan and I was very aware of how big it was, you know, both, you know, like on a international scale and just in my head it was so big. So I felt like, oh, I'm an outsider, how can I come onto this? And I felt everyone knew I was a fan and they would be keeping their distance, but it was more me. I was just a bit afraid of them. But everyone was so nice and they wanted me to feel at home, and they were really encouraging.
They all kind of blend into one, and then other times they're really kind of specific, the moments. But no, it's been really, you know, it's been an incredible journey for me in terms of, you know, how the energy has kept going throughout it, and the friendships have always stayed so strong, and the excitement levels have always been, you know, big for me. So it's quite weird now coming to the end, but I think it's exciting for all of us in terms of, I think we're very, you know, everyone's very supportive in terms of where we'll all get next go, and yeah, it's fun.
Do you guys miss the long hair?
I do, so I'm trying to maybe grow it a bit back now, because I'm not going to tell my nan I'm doing so, because she's not really a huge fan of that, but it'd be great to have it, but not ginger hair. Because being 6'2", 6'3" with long ginger hair, you kind of stand out in the crowd a bit. But
yeah,
I'm quite up for growing it back.
Yeah, I was going to, and then it got to that in-between stage, so I thought I'll just get it cut off when I go on to New York. But I may grow it again. But it was really cool though to have the ginger hair. That's another thing I don't miss at all about not filming anymore. Like every 3 weeks, getting your roots done.
You guys obviously have the most hair involved with any of the cast?
I
supply?
think mine's just a bit longer than yours.
Yeah,
You got that all that wee delicate stuff, whereas mine's a slap-on job. They break it into parts.
It's a horrible thing to have done.
You can't move your lips naturally.
You sure do,
yeah?
Yeah.
They break it up into bits, and then
Get the wig.
I drew my hair down to there, so that then it could be combed over the wig. So you didn't have to glue it in that bit, because that's the killer, that would, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then off in the evening, when the beard was off, 2 girls used to come down to my trailer and cover my face in hot oil.
Nice girls.
Didn't matter really at that time of night.
Which just takes longer to put the makeup on?
Griphook takes the longest. He's about a 4-hour makeup. And that's the most complete transformation for me. It's all encompassing. So once the makeup's glued on, I still have the 23mm contact lenses and the dentures that go in. So looking in the mirror, I don't see any of me looking back. Whereas as Flitwick, it's still a 2.5-hour process as far as makeup goes, but it's still my own eyes that I look back at, you know, in the mirror. So yeah, quite grueling. But without all of that, you know, I couldn't have been in the films and played multiple different roles. So I'm hugely grateful to the artists and technicians for their just brilliant work that they did.
Obviously, you guys have been putting together the DVDs while David's been making the next film. Do you guys end up having a lot of extra stuff to put on? I mean, because it would feel like with 2 movies, if you don't have a lot of extras to put on DVDs later, is that the case, or?
Well, I think that there's quite a lot on this one. There's not that many deleted scenes, though there are deleted scenes because we're quite efficient in terms of the way we shoot.
Or of using what we shoot.
Yeah.
There are deleted. I mean, there's a lovely scene at the beginning of Privet Drive that was a really great scene of Dudley saying goodbye to Harry, but it just rhythmically it didn't quite work in the cut, and so we're very pleased to have that on the DVD.
Felt like we were having too many beginnings.
Yeah, it did, and so.
And then there's this wonderful thing called maximum movie mode, in which we stood in front of a screen, or had the screen.
Well, we got our chance to shoot green screen.
I know, we were shot on green. It was amazing, and it was wonderful because it allowed us and allows actors to talk about the character. Basically, you watch the film, but we are in a box, as it were, talking about the film and the experience of making the film.
Aspects of making the film.
And why some decisions were made, the choices we make, and why we made them. It gives the viewer real insight into the movie making process.